Hey guys, this is Justin at the Survivor Review, and I'm really surprised at how all the movies I've been really anticipated for so far have all lived up to my expectations or exceeded them. Like X-Men, Captain America, Guardians of the Galaxy, Planet of the Apes, Godzilla, and that's just great. Then I saw Expendables 3. To start out, my opinion on the first two Expendables movies, I actually did review those a couple years ago when Expendables 2 first came out. But anyway, I enjoyed them for what they are. They don't live up to the potential that this franchise could have, and it really could be. But the first one is a good 80s throwback action film. Nothing too special, but just a fun movie. And I really liked the second one. I had a blast with it. It's great to see all these actors all together, because they weren't really together in the first one. And I think the second one was the best of the series. I even have a big poster of Expendables 2 on my door. I've had it there since the movie came out. So I really like the second one. So I had, at first, high expectations for Expendables 3. After all the new cast members they announced, which sounded great. And even the plot involving Mel Gibson's character, the villain, was really awesome. And just Stallone saying how he wanted to mesh, he wanted to mesh the tone of the first movie, which was a bit more serious, and the tone of the second one, which was very campy. He wanted to find a middle ground, and I'm like, that's great. That's what the series really should be. So I was really excited for this. But in the weeks and month or so leading up to the movie, my expectations kind of dwindled down once they announced the PG-13 rating. Then the movie leaked online. I started hearing reactions to that. So I went in with this movie with low expectations, and I'm glad I did, because it really was not that good. I didn't hate it. I had enjoyable moments, but not very good. The plot of the movie basically is Stallone and his crew go on a mission to stop this guy who ends up being revealed to be Mel Gibson, who Stallone thought was dead. Mel Gibson and Stallone founded the Expendables. Then Gibson went rogue, and Stallone had to kill him, but apparently he didn't, and he's back. And that mission just goes completely wrong. So, for some stupid reason, Stallone decides to fire his crew, Jason Statham, Dolph Lundgren, and all them, and get a younger group of people to go stop Mel Gibson. Then, as the plot goes on, they get captured, and then he has to get the old crew back to go save them. So, where do I begin with the flaws in this movie? They completely, missed, for the middle half of the movie especially, they completely missed the appeal of these movies. And I'm not just talking about the PG-13 rating. I'm talking about the movie in general. Even with an R, it still would miss the idea of these franchises. The idea of this franchise is to see all these old, aging action stars together in a movie doing stuff, which does not happen at all in the middle of this movie. The middle of this movie has the most boring second act, ever. Basically, the middle of this movie is Stallone recruiting the young people, then the young people going on a mission to stop Mel Gibson. That's the middle half of this movie, and it is so bland and just really when him and Kelsey Grammer go to recruit the new people, that should have been a montage. That's a good 20 minutes of this movie. And the young cast, some of the most bland, badly acted, generic cast ever. There's nothing about these actors that stand out or make them interesting at all. And even their characters, when they're recruiting them, they don't do anything or show off any real special skills that make you think okay, I can see. The only person would be the tech guy, because that would make sense. So that could help out. The tech guy could help out. But everybody else is oh, she's really good at fighting. And he's okay, and that's her character. The female character. I don't know her name, but I'm oh, okay, so I don't care about these people at all. And the middle half just sucked. Then there's the PG-13 rating. Now, it did not, alright. This movie really felt like it was shot with an R and edited down, because the editing is really bad at times. There's a lot of quick cuts whenever people are getting shot. You could tell they had to trim it, and it's really annoying. I guess much as I don't like the movie Live Free or Die Hard, at least the PG-13 cut is watchable as an action film. There's something about it that feels badly edited. It's a well-edited film, even in a PG-13 state. This movie is not that at all. There's a ton of times where the impact is gone. Now, I like blood and gore in my movies. I'm a fan of that, but I'm not saying this from that perspective. I'm just saying this in general. You lose a lot of the impact when you have a movie with a huge body count and huge action scenes. Every time somebody gets shot, they just fall down. There's no impact to the death scenes, and it doesn't work. And it just makes it less interesting, and I don't know, it's bad. It's bad. The PG-13 is bad. So, some positives, because I do have a few. The best thing about this movie, easily, is Mel Gibson as the villain. He was awesome. He stole the show. Every time he was on screen, I was like, yeah, I'm invested in what you're doing. Mel Gibson is a great actor, and he is clearly too good for these movies. But I'm happy to see him in there. I want to see him in more movies. Now, especially after his performance in this. There's a scene where the Expendables team captures him, and he's in the back of this truck with Sylvester Stallone, and they're just talking, and it's the best scene in the whole movie. It's the most interesting scene, most well-acted scene, probably in all three movies, but it's such an awesome scene. I was watching the scene like, yeah, this is great. Even his character was interesting, how he was a co-founder of the Expendables and went rogue. That was really interesting. It was a really cool aspect. His name is Conrad Stonebanks. How awesome is that? He stole the show. As much as they don't get much to do, it was great to see Wesley Snipes in this movie. It was great to see Harrison Ford in this movie. He gave a good performance. I like it. I did like the scene at the beginning when you first are introduced to him, and he's like all pissed off. It was really awesome. Though at the end, when he's flying the helicopter around and saying one-liners, it was really awkward because he's not the one-liner type of actor. So that was really awkward. There's a lot of awkward moments in this movie. A lot of awkward pauses after lines, and a lot of cheap jokes that just don't work. Wesley Snipes, at the beginning of the movie, they break him out of prison. It's like a prison transport, but still, it's basically breaking him out of prison. And I love that idea. That's hilarious. And then later on after that, they're in the plane, and Dolph Lundgren asks them, "So what were you in for?" And Wesley Snipes goes, "Tax evasion." Seriously? That's the cheapest joke you could think of. And then having Arnold Schwarzenegger redo some of his line. He says, "Get to the chopper" in this movie. And when it happened, I was like, He even does the "I lied" line from Commando. And that happened, I also went, it was groan-worthy. Speaking of that, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jet Li do nothing in this movie. They try to make it feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger does more. He's technically in this movie more than the first two, more than the second one. And it's only because he's in the middle half of the movie, but he's just there, talking to Stallone in one scene, flying the plane in the next. And then when the action kicks in, he's just sitting on a helicopter shooting a machine gun. And then Jet Li only appears in the end of this movie, and when he does, he's just sitting on a helicopter shooting a machine gun. Doesn't have a fight scene at all. If they just had a different actor play Jet Li's part in this movie, you wouldn't tell the difference, because that's all he did. And it's like, seriously, you have this amazing cast, and you don't do anything with them. There's a montage in the middle of the movie where it's just Jason Statham, Randy Couture, Wesley Snipes, and Dolph Lundgren sitting around doing nothing. That's the montage. That was on, I was like, yeah, that's why I came to see an Expendables movie, to see all these guys looking bored. Yay. But, like I said, Gibson was great. Great to see this cast. Antonio Banderas, they really could have used him better, because he came off as kind of annoying. They really could have utilized him much better. It was great to see him have a lot of screen time, which I wasn't expecting. So I was like, yeah, I like that, but overall, the opening stuff was good. The action scenes, a little too shaky cam and not as well shot as the second movie, but enjoyable, and the ending was over the top, but it was enjoyable, I guess, as an action scene. Overall, I bashed this movie more than I praised it, and it deserves that, but I don't completely hate it. I feel like if you check this movie out on TV, or even at a really cheap matinee, it won't hurt you too much, especially if you know what you're getting in for. And then you shouldn't be too bad. It was just plain okay. as a movie on its own, it's just okay. They missed the mark on a lot of things of what really could have been a great movie. This actually was my third most anticipated movie of the year. I actually put it that high on my list because I got excited for it. So far, this is probably my major disappointment of the year. As long as I don't think it's the worst movie of the year. I'd rather watch it again than Spider-Man 2. That being said, I out of 10, I'm thinking between 5.5 and 6. Well, I can't completely decide. I'm usually a bit positive of a person, so I might just round it up to 6. 6 out of 10. Which I know is a bit more positive than what I've been saying about this movie since I've mostly bashed it, but I think 6 is an alright score. So that's Expendables 3. A big step down from the first two, which is saying much since the first two weren't even that great to begin with, but it's a step down from the first two, and from the recent box office returns from the movie, I don't think we'll be seeing Expendables 4 anytime soon, which would suck. I want them to just make Expendables 4 and make it the way people want it to. You make it R-rated, actually give us a decent story, get rid of the young people, and give all the old people something to do, and just make it an awesome action film. Make it an awesome action film that actually has more to it than just hey, get it? It's old guys blowing up stuff. And then that'd be cool, just do one big finale. That's, to me, is what they should do. Also, cut back on Sylvester Stallone. I mean, I get it, he's the guy who really started the franchise, but he is in these movies too much. And he's I like Stallone, but give other people a shot, please. Make Schwarzenegger the star. He's not doing anything now, he's not in office anymore. Either way, that's Expendables 3, and that's about it. So until next time, I will talk to you guys later.